Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome. On behalf of Quadrant Technologies, I am pleased to welcome you to today's live webinar, FinOps Transformation with IBM Apptio Cloudability. My name is Sandeep Thomas, and I'll be your host for this session. It's great to have you join us as we discuss a topic that's top of mind for many organizations: how to gain better visibility, control, and value from cloud investments through effective FinOps practices. This event is being streamed on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, so feel free to comment, like, and share the live stream with your network so others can join the conversation. Here's a quick look at what we'll cover today. We'll start with a brief overview of FinOps and why IBM Apptio Cloudability is becoming so important for organizations managing cloud spend. Then a short perspective on how Quadrant helps customers manage multi-cloud and hybrid environments. After that, we'll dive into FinOps transformation using IBM Apptio Cloudability, followed by a quick demo so you can see the platform in action. And we'll leave time for Q&A and close with next steps for anyone interested in learning more. Let's get started. It's my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished speakers for today's webinar. I will briefly read bios beginning with Glenn Kaminsky, followed by Sai Suresh, and conclude with David Avila. Glenn has a dynamic and diverse background in virtually all customer and partner-facing technology roles, including solution consulting, product marketing, sales, customer success, professional services, and consulting, reflecting a commitment to quality and integrity in all customer and team interactions. He has extensive experience in technology, business management, IT financial management, FinOps, IT asset management, and IT operations management solutions with IBM Apptio, ServiceNow, and other leading companies, helping customers and partners drive cost optimization, data-driven decisions, and investment shifts to innovation. Sai is the Executive Vice President of Global Revenue and Solutions at Quadrant, responsible for taking a portfolio of solutions to market and for growing our business. He brings extensive consulting experience in leading and managing large and complex client engagements for Global 100 as well as mid-market clients across banking, insurance, life sciences, and other industries. Sai blends both strategic and pragmatic implementation perspectives to technology issues, providing audiences with usable and actionable content and advice. And finally, David has been with TD SYNNEX Tech Data for 9 years. He has held various roles in the company, from support engineer to senior systems engineer, and now solutions architect for the IBM software team. Currently, he focuses on FinOps and AI Ops, which includes Apptio and the Watson X platform, and is responsible for providing partners with sales and technical enablement and product support. When David is off work, he enjoys spending time on the Florida beaches, going to Busch Gardens and Universal Studios with his family, and rooting for the sports teams in the Tampa-Orlando area. We also have with us Joey Klobuchar, a business development executive who is a senior leader from TD SYNNEX, joining us on the webinar today. We'll wrap up with a short Q&A, so just keep this in mind. Please submit your questions in the chat. Selected questions will be addressed live, and if we're unable to answer any question live, we'll be happy to follow up by email. You can also reach us at marcoms@quadranttechnologies.com. So, without further ado, let's get started, and I invite Glenn to kick things off over to us.
Thanks, Sandeep. I really appreciate it. So it's a real pleasure to be with all of you today. I'm going to kind of set the stage for how IBM, especially the Apptio portfolio, helps organizations manage FinOps and and then kind of kick things off, and we'll get a deeper dive into IBM Cloudability to learn more about our great FinOps platform. So Sandeep, if you go ahead and start the first slide, that'd be great. So organizations today, specifically around FinOps, but in other areas as well, or just other areas as well, are dealing with an unbelievable amount of data that is really kind of feeding and driving the costs of technology, especially with respect to cloud. They have to understand their current costs, budget for future costs, understand whether they're using those resources in a cost-efficient manner. And it's getting more and more complex to pull all this together across IT, across finance, and across the business, so that an organization just knows where they stand with respect to their overall cloud costs. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. And that's where IBM Apptio comes into play. So IBM Apptio is focused on an overall practice called technology business management that's really about improving business outcomes by giving organizations a way to translate the technology and financial related costs into how that drives outcomes within their business. And there are three major pillars. One is strategic portfolio management. Another is IT financial management to understand the overall total cost of ownership for IT. And finally, why we're here today, and that's to talk about FinOps, public cloud cost, hybrid cloud cost, and the focus of today's webinar is on the FinOps area. You can go ahead and advance, please. So talked about, again, three pillars within the IBM Apptio portfolio. The one that we're focused on today is supported by the Cloudability solution. Cloudability tool really focuses on public cloud, Kubernetes, billing and usage data, and that's multi-cloud. It gives organizations a single pane of glass to understand their current costs, current usage, as well as to plan for future workloads and understand and predict and forecast what their costs are going to be in the future. Again, it's going to turn that multi-cloud cost into explainable and governed cloud economics. So there's a wrapper of governance around that as well, and really helps enable decisions around future use of cloud resources, how AI translates and impacts those cloud costs without slowing down the actual delivery of the resources that development teams need to perform business critical operations within the organization. Next slide. So IBM Apptio has been focused on FinOps right from the start. The FinOps Foundation is an actual offshoot of a user group that initially started within the IBM Apptio community and has since been spun off and is now completely independent. So for those who are unaware, Cloudability was an application and a company that was acquired by Apptio, and then Apptio itself was acquired by IBM back in 2023 or so. If you haven't been introduced to or have interacted with the FinOps Foundation, I highly recommend you leverage those amazing resources to learn more about FinOps as a practice and learn how you can employ best practices within your organization, independent of tools, so that you can understand your overall cloud costs, be able to predict them in the future, and make sure that they're being used efficiently, effectively, and with proper governance in place. Just wanted to do a brief introduction. I'll go ahead then and pass it over to Sai.
Sai, I believe you're on mute.
Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Sandeep. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're all having a great Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening and a great week so far. Thanks for making time to join us for this webinar today on a topic that is important to many of you, I presume, especially if you're a mid to large enterprise with a significant cloud spend. Before we jump into the most interesting part of the webinar today, I would just like to take this opportunity to give you a quick glimpse into who we are and what we do here at Quadrant as it relates to cloud technology. We are amongst the fastest growing consulting companies in the US Pacific Northwest. We're a team of 3,000 plus people and growing. And, we have a global footprint. We can deliver services from onshore, nearshore, offshore. So if you're able to move to the next slide. Thank you. We're a team of about 3,000 plus people and growing. And our core expertise is primarily at the intersection of cloud, data, applications, and AI. And cloud is central to pretty much everything that we do here at Quadrant. And we provide end-to-end services as it relates to cloud services, all the way from cloud strategy, advisory, down to cloud architecture, cloud design, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, managed services, all the way to helping you migrate applications and data workloads to the cloud. And we're a silver partner of IBM, and we bring the power of the entire suite of IBM's enterprise solutions, including Apptio, IBM watsonx, Maximo, and several other solutions to our clients. And as part of today's webinar, like Glenn mentioned, we are going to be talking about Apptio Cloudability. In terms of what we have seen from our experience with our clients about cloud technology and how enterprises are using cloud technology, these are some of the key observations that we've seen. The multi-cloud, hybrid cloud strategy or approach that many of the enterprises are taking today seems to be the order of the day. And companies seem to be doing this for a combination of reasons, right? First and foremost, each of the popular public cloud platforms, be it Azure, be it AWS, be it Google Cloud, each of them seem to offer some very powerful capabilities and some very special features and functionality for specific use cases. So obviously, companies want to leverage the power of each of those platforms to address multiple use cases, and so you have a multi-cloud, a perfect case for a multi-cloud deployment. Companies are also doing this as a risk mitigation strategy. I'm sure many of you have probably experienced the outages with some of the most prominent cloud platforms in recent times. So it can indeed be a risk mitigation strategy to deploy a multi-cloud type of an approach. So that seems to be, those are some of the key reasons we are seeing majority of our clients have a multi-cloud type of an environment. So it's only a natural choice in terms of why companies are gravitating towards multi-cloud, hybrid cloud type of environments. So what does it take to make a multi-cloud environment work? Especially when you have multiple applications, multiple deployments across multiple cloud platforms. I think the single most important aspect of multi-clouds is the ability to integrate the applications, the data, and the services across these different platforms. So interoperability becomes a very critical and essential aspect of making multi-clouds work. There are several other key focus areas that we've listed, but I think one other key factor or aspect of multi-clouds is the ability to manage the usage and the applications and the services that you have across all of these different platforms, and be able to optimize the usage as well as the costs of all of these different platforms. There is the challenge of sprawl of cloud usage across enterprises, and that has become a significant challenge for companies that have multi-cloud deployments. So a very relevant conversation that we are having today is about the multi-cloud management or operational control and the cost management using IBM Apptio Cloudability. It's a very powerful tool, and it's one of the best options that you have, best choices that you have in the market out there in terms of a cloud management and FinOps platforms. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, where and how does Quadrant help in terms of helping enterprises with a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud type of environment? if you're just starting your journey, your cloud journey, or if you have some cloud presence today, and if you are thinking about a multi-cloud strategy, we can help you all the way from helping you determine what the approach should be, what the design should be, how should you go about bringing multiple cloud platforms, what are the downstream use cases that you may need to address, which platform is suited best for each of those use cases. We can help you build out those platforms for scalability, for availability, for integration, and for reliability. And we can help you with modernizing your applications, your data, by migrating those workloads, the application workloads or the data workloads onto the cloud. And obviously, security and compliance is a key part of any cloud implementation. We have experts at Quadrant who can help you with specific security strategy and compliance frameworks for your multi-cloud deployments. So we can address the entire cloud value chain, all the way from strategy advisory, down to architecture design, down to modernization, down to optimization, which is the topic of the webinar today. So we cover the entire gamut of services that companies typically need in terms of multi-cloud deployments. Before we jump into the core topic of the webinar today, I would like to quickly show you some of the value that we've delivered for some of our clients. We have a number of examples, but just to keep the conversation short on this particular segment, these are some illustrative examples. One of the key engagements that we take pride in is a large transformative engagement that we've done for one of the largest hospital chains in India, where we transform their entire data landscape and their application landscape by moving 5,000 plus databases onto cloud in a record time. We achieved this within a matter of, I believe, 6 to 8 months, and that was a path-breaking type of success that we've experienced with this client. One other example is, we've helped modernize the analytics capabilities for a large US airliner by helping migrate, 500 plus reports that they had on a legacy platform onto, a modern cloud platform. We have a number of other similar examples. I'll close out with the last one, which is, we built a very cool cloud-native AI application for a construction client, a growing construction client in the Seattle area, and they are using this application to quickly find, architects, engineers, and draftsmen that they need for specific construction projects. This used to take them days and weeks before we brought in this AI application, but they're able to do this in minutes as compared to the long cycles that they had to go through previously. So those are some of the examples of how we are helping our clients leverage the best out of their cloud investments and their AI investments to bring modern solutions and modern technology to client engagements. So with that, I will hand this over to David Avila to walk us through the IBM Apptio Cloudability presentation and the demo. Over to you, David. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and share the screen, Sandeep, with you. And if you can bring that up whenever it shows up on your end. There we go. So good afternoon, everybody. Like previously mentioned, my name is David Avila. I'm a solution architect on the What's On Next team here at TD SYNNEX. And today we're going to be walking you through a IBM Cloudability. We're going to talk about some common challenges organizations face when using the cloud, the type of questions they usually ask, what FinOps actually is, and who the key stakeholders are, and the roles they play in the FinOps lifecycle. We're also going to be looking at the blockers that get in the way and how the Apptio Cloudability helps solve them. And after that, as mentioned, we'll go through a quick overview demo of the platform. Before we dive in, it is important to understand the opportunities and challenges that come with moving to the cloud. Cloud adoption isn't really an option anymore. It is a must if you want to stay agile, scale quickly, and innovate. But buying and managing cloud services and resources works very differently from the old school IT procurement process, as you may imagine. In the traditional model, everything had to flow through procurement and finance. With the cloud, engineers can spin up resources on their own and very quickly. And often they do that without finance or procurement even knowing about it. That's, of course, that speeds things up as you might think, but it also creates risk around staying on budget and making sure everyone is accountable for what they spend. A big shift is the move from CapEx to OpEx. Cloud spend is variable. You pay for what you use, which makes forecasting and budgeting harder. At the same time, it opens the door to lots of opportunities to optimize and save. On top of what we just went through, cloud providers offer instant access to tons of services. This makes it easy to innovate quickly, but it also makes it just as easy to over-provision and end up paying for way more than you actually need. What we're seeing is that organizations are moving away from traditional on-prem infrastructure to infrastructure as a service to support those digital transformation initiatives, remote work, and AI adoptions. With this shift, global spending on infrastructure as a service is expected to surpass $1.4 trillion by 2029. That's quite a lot. Along with that, AI and machine learning are introducing new layers of cost and complexity. As AI adoption grows, organizations are under pressure to develop cost models and governance strategies that ensure that AI initiatives are both financially sustainable and aligned with business objectives. And of course, without proper optimization, over 25% of cloud spend is often wasted. And that is 25% that companies could have been invested somewhere else. So they could have reinvested that on different initiatives. And just a slide here to show you that per Gartner through 2028, 70% of organizations that are doing large cloud deals will be unable to accurately track their cloud spend, which in turn leads to not knowing if you're actually getting value of the cloud, or you might just be paying more, as I mentioned earlier. As companies move into the cloud, a lot of the same questions tend to pop up, mostly around cost, visibility, and performance. Teams want to know how they can actually see where their cloud spend is going, how accurately migrate their on-prem setup to the cloud, and how to keep surprise bills from showing up. There are also worries about juggling workloads across multiple clouds, making sure resources match actual demand, and figuring out how to reduce costs without slowing anything down. Getting answers to these questions is crucial for building a cloud strategy that actually works long-term. And that is why so many organizations are turning to FinOps, bringing financial accountability to cloud usage and helping teams make smarter, data-driven decisions. So you might be asking, what exactly is FinOps? I know Glenn covered a little bit of that earlier, but FinOps is basically a way to bring IT, finance, and the business together so everyone can get the most value out of the public cloud. Think of it as a set of best practices, processes, and tools that helps teams collaborate and make smarter decisions about cloud spend. FinOps was built specifically for managing and optimizing public cloud. The FinOps lifecycle is broken into 3 phases, which is inform, optimize, and operate. As you can see on the slide, this process isn't a one and done. It is a continuous lifecycle. Following it helps organizations stay flexible, keep those costs under control, and get the most value out of their cloud environments. In the inform phase, it focuses on achieving visibility and accurate allocation of cloud resources. This enables organizations to understand who is using what and for what purposes. In the optimize phase, we focus on improving rates, allocation. During this stage, organizations analyze cloud usage data to identify cost-saving opportunities. They can negotiate better pricing and ensure resources are allocated efficiently across teams and projects. And in the operate phase, that focus shifts to ongoing improvement and keeping things running smoothly. This is where you got solid processes in place to track how the cloud is being used, fine-tune your strategies, and make sure your cloud spending continues to line up with your business goals. And after all that has been established, your FinOps practice after you have established your FinOps practice for the public cloud, now you can start thinking about expanding to other areas of cloud spend as well. Let's take a minute and talk about those stakeholders. They matter because FinOps teams are made up of people from different parts of the organization, and everyone needs a solid foundation to work well together and make the practice successful. Putting FinOps into action is something that FinOps team does alone. It takes a mix of stakeholders working alongside them. Anyone who uses the cloud, tracks it, manages, or makes decisions about it will benefit from collaborating through the FinOps framework. In most organizations, there are key personas who are always part of the FinOps effort. These core roles brings essential skills and disciplines needed to use the cloud effectively. So with the ongoing shift towards cloud adoption and the increasing emphasis on FinOps practices, it's essential to understand the specific challenges that Cloud Center of Excellence teams, platform owners, and executives face. Cloudability addresses these challenges by providing a solution that enables organizations to gain clear visibility into cloud costs, streamline cloud cost management, and make informed decisions to optimize their cloud investment. As you can start seeing, it's all about making smart data-driven decisions, get the most value out of that data so you can actually start saving money. So for the Cloud Center of Excellence, they need to be able to distribute shared costs at the account, tag, cluster, namespace level, just to name a few. The desired outcome of that is for budget owners to understand full spend of shared platforms and services. The platform owners need to understand the unit cost of their services, like cost per query, user, stream, event, and more. They want to understand the unit cost of the cloud environments to better track optimization. Platform owners, they need to understand the unit cost of their services, like cost, didn't pass by, there we go. And finally, leadership needs to layer in revenue or value data so they can really understand what's driving profit. They want to make smart investment decisions across the business. And to do that, they need data that's accurate, reliable, and easy to stand behind with. On this slide, it's basically a way to figure out where the client is in their FinOps journey. A few things we look at include how much they're spending in the cloud, what tools are they using, whether that be third-party tools, native cloud tools, or something built in-house. How mature the cloud capabilities are. These vary a lot and it can be tough to pin down, but most clients know there are certain areas or technologies they are struggling with, and those are the ones they want to start addressing. Cloud maturity can be grouped into 3 different stages: crawl, walk, and run. In the crawl stage, reporting is minimal or is missing, and they're just starting to define those processes and policies that I discussed earlier. In the walk phase, the processes are being identified during the crawl, are now being put in place. They're taking on tougher problems and starting to work through them. And in the run stage, those tougher challenges are being solved, processes are fully adopted, and automation begins replacing manual work. And based on those maturity phases, we have a Cloudability product that can assist on each one of those. Essentials is the fundamentals for FinOps. You get that multi-cloud cost visibility, cost allocation, container optimization, right-sizing recommendations, and insights. Cloudability standard includes all of essentials, plus leveraging telemetry data, apologies, metrics to cloud value articulation, and sustainability reporting. And as you can imagine, Premium includes all of standard plus Turbonomic Technologies, which is another product that we have from FinOps that does application resource management. And with that, you get insight into application resources, dependencies, automate allocation of application, and Kubernetes resources intelligently and granular control of how recommendations are generated. Public cloud costs can get pretty complicated, and they can make it tough for organizations to get FinOps up and running. The good news is that with the right FinOps tools, we can help close that gap and make things a lot easier. And as we go through this slide, probably some of these blockers resonate with everybody in attendance, at least one or two, if not all of them. So you start thinking about that as you start seeing this and we keep going along through this presentation. Basically, Cloudability helps remove the roadblocks that make FinOps hard to implement. It is built to support every part of the FinOps process. A lot of organizations run into the same challenges when managing cloud costs. Things like messy or inconsistent tagging, trouble finding cloud ways, or figuring out how different cloud providers' discounts stack up against each other. They also struggle with assigning container costs, splitting shared costs fairly, and connecting cloud spend back to revenue. And on top of all that, teams often over-provision just to make sure performance doesn't dip. So that goes back, I'm tying a lot of points up from the beginning of the slides where you might be paying too much just to make sure the performance in, but you're still paying, you're not getting the value that you thought you were getting from the cloud by doing that. So Cloudability helps tackle all these issues head on. It automates and improves commitment coverage, manages the cost of container environments, and calculates total product cost so teams know exactly what they're spending. All of this helps streamline cloud financial management and keeps cloud spending more aligned with the business. And Cloudability is the leading FinOps tool, and it plays a central role in helping organizations put FinOps practices into action across all the stages of the lifecycle. A part of this is being able to assign cloud costs to the right business groups, and Cloudability has built-in features that make it easy to automate full showback or chargeback. Once costs are allocated, the next challenge that is getting teams to take ownership of what they're spending. Cloudability is built to scale this across the organization. FinOps teams or Cloud Center of Excellence can create dashboards that automatically filter down so each user sees only what's relevant to their job. When teams truly own their cloud spend, it opens the door to improving efficiency and saving money. And Cloudability helps by delivering optimization recommendations directly to the people who can actually act on them. And I will leave you with this graph that shows IBM as the leader FinOps per Gartner, a best-in-class cloud financial management platform. So if you had any doubts from the get-go at the beginning of this, we want to make sure that you're reassured that we are the leaders in that area. All right, and with that, we're going to go straight to a demo. And let me bring that up. So this is what you would normally see when you log into your Apptio Cloudability environment. You get your own personalized environment. Sorry, a little technical difficulty here. You get your environment, you get your own personalized dashboard, and you can actually, as you can see the widgets here, you can actually add more widgets. As you can see here, you can either be visualization or text widgets. And just to give you a quick overview of what it looks like, it is a lot of information. So you can do your x-axis that are available. So if you thought about it, there's an option for it on there as well for the drop-down menu. You can also drag and drop and move it across as you see accordingly. For the demo, we're going to actually go to a different dashboard. We're going to go to the multi-cloud FinOps dashboard. All right, so let's get going. So what we're going to see here is how Cloudability helps clients manage and optimize public cloud costs across all phases of the FinOps cycle. We'll see how Cloudability helps allocate costs back to business units, optimize cloud costs, and enable team ownership. The first thing to note about the platform is that it brings cost visibility across the major cloud providers, AWS, Azure, and GCP in a single pane. Clients can understand the cost of the entire cloud footprint and measure it in a way that makes sense to the business. So, for example, we can see what has been paid to the cloud vendors, which is your spend this cash right here, versus what has been consumed, which is your amortized widget. One of the most interesting definitions available by default is your usage family, cost by usage family. And another popular reporting allows users to track consumed cloud service, identify the type of a cost item, and identify the transaction type, which will be this bar right here, which is the 30 more expensive cloud resources. Keep in mind that insights delivered by Cloudability are primarily based on the detailed billing information available from each cloud vendor, and then enriched to help you make sense of it. So this data is just based out of data you get from your AWS portal, your Azure, or your GCP. So if something is off, if something on that data is off or not right, you can imagine how can that offset some of the information you're going to get on the application. So all the data in Cloudability is standardized through its view engine, whether you want to sort application by product or by other meaningful metric for your business. Views can be defined based on any attribute of a cost record, as I showed you earlier, either loaded directly from the cloud provider or from a business mapping. This allows users to focus on the data that is relevant to them, and it also provides access control so users can only see the cost data that they should see. All right, so take a quick view. Let's go into actual product itself. Let's wait for it to load. Hopefully, fingers crossed. There it is. So for example, if you log into a system as the product owner, like in this example would be Turbonomic, you will see only the cost data for that particular product. So everything in the Cloudability platform is designed to help users self-service the cost data and make the right decision in the cloud in real time. Right? So let's go back to the old data view. All right. So look at the left-hand side of the navigation bar. So Cloudability at its core was designed as a big data analytics engine for public cloud. This data reporting capability is critical to support certain features like anomaly detection, forecasting capabilities, and general reporting and auditability of your cloud data. All right. So on top of that core dashboard that I've been showing and reporting capability that was also shown, Cloudability has a suite of features around each of the different FinOps phases. So in the Insights Twisty, is directly related to the inform phase of the FinOps cycle. True Cost Explorer and Tag Explorer help with the cost allocation. Container cost allocation is found here too. Anomaly detection helps to quickly detect unusual spend. And scorecards help compare the efficiency of clouds across teams. All right, so now you know who's spending what. You're probably going to ask, how can Cloudability help us spend less? Great question. So this is where the optimize section comes in. Cloudability answers that question by helping plan commitment management across all of the cloud providers, as well as right sizing and automatic ROI tracking for data optimization. So now you know who's spending what and that you're spending the right amount. The next thing you might want to know is, what are we going to pay tomorrow? And that's where the plan section comes into play. And let's go into current month. Let's wait for it to load. And here we see the current month analysis and long-term forecast that shows you what you might be spending 6, 12, 24 months out, all while tracking your budget and your plans to actuals. This is how you stay up to date on what your teams are expected to spend. Let's talk about the Organize tab. Cloudability will ingest all your tags and labels across all the cloud providers. Along with that, most, if not all, of Cloudability clients leverage the business mapping feature. This feature provides a rule-based allocation strategy that maps cloud spend back to business units. Let's go back real quick to the Insights section. Specifically, the Tag Explorer. The Tag Explorer lets you see the state of all your tagging across your business. This helps achieve one of the principles of FinOps. Everyone takes ownership for their cloud usage. Using Tag Explorer, we can identify the resources that can be tagged but are not tagged. That can be tagged but are not tagged. So for example, let's click on the team section right here. This feature helps you quickly identify the items that should be properly tagged by the operations team, so the associated costs are allocated to the correct owner or application. For items that cannot be tagged, as mentioned, Cloudability provides the business mapping feature that lets you define logical conditions to assign the cost to the responsible party. Now, this is very important because if you can allocate the cloud spend dollars accurately and successfully back to the business unit, application, or the cost center, you really won't be able to perform any of the optimization or forecasting. Let's take a quick look at containers. And let's wait for it to load. Seems to be a little sluggish this afternoon. Okay, so if you have a managed Kubernetes or OpenShift clusters, Cloudability provides a mechanism to collect usage metrics, such as CPU, memory consumption. This is what the container section is for. These metrics are used to properly divide the cost of running the whole cluster to owners or initiators of the workload. Anomaly detection is another function that facilitates the implementation of the inform phase of the FinOps. So let's take a quick view there. Let's wait for it to load. And we're just going to take a quick gander on the details of one of them. Like that, it might be. So the goal here is simple: detect cloud spend anomalies as soon as possible and alert users so they can verify and react. Let me give you a quick example of how this helped save money for a company in the past. So there was a that tried to test Amazon Macy or Macy, depending on how you pronounce it, when it was first released. They started testing Friday around noon and left the office around 5 p.m. By around 9 p.m., sorry, 5 p.m. By around 9 p.m., they had spent over $240,000 on the Amazon Macy scanning through every account, looking for security vulnerabilities and things like that. So Cloudability raised an alert within several hours, and the client was able to open a ticket with AWS support. And because they were able to catch it within a 24-hour period, they were able to get a credit back for that service. So imagine if there was never an alert triggered, the client would have been on the hook for way more than that by the time someone actually noticed. So Cloudability anomaly detection feature is powerful and robust because it is fully automated and based on the standard deviation analysis on any cost item. Users do not have to define any thresholds or alert rules. They are notified across any service of any connected cloud service provider. Let's look at the right sizing, one of the cloudability features that support the optimized phase of the FinOps cycle, and one of the several items available to help you optimize your cloud spend. And as we load, hopefully it loads a little quicker than before. Oh, I gotta do a quick adjustment here, just so I have actual data pop up. There we go. All right, so Cloudability looks at the utilization metrics of different cloud services and makes a recommendation if it thinks there is a lower cost and more suitable instance type available. It recommends right-sizing and terminating actions on the compute instances, bringing savings to your cloud spend. This feature is often used in the low FinOps maturity level, which is the crawl phase, where clients are still learning how to operate in the cloud and want to apply these actions manually. And finally, as your FinOps practices mature, you typically want to implement operate practices. So let's take a look at that. And let's go to forecast. There we go. And Cloudability, as you may, supports you by providing cost forecasts based on collected data and projected trends. You can review this forecast for any of your cloud services and save the forecast as a budget. You can forecast up to 24 months, as mentioned earlier, using the forecast range setting, as you can see here. Later, when new billing data is imported, the actual costs are automatically compared against budget and visualized on the reports. This helps you manage your cloud spend. So to quickly recap what I just showed you, we saw how Cloudability helps you implement practices from all phases of the FinOps cycle, started with the inform phase through optimize and operate. We also saw a number of visualizations, dashboards, and reports that help you allocate those cloud costs to owners, products, business units, or whatever cost center you need. We viewed optimization recommendations that help you save money. And finally, you saw features that help your finance department with planning, forecasting, and budgeting cloud. So that is all I have for today. Let me pass it on back to the Quadrant team and Sandeep. Or you.
Great. Thank you, David. I think we're going to go shift over to a time of Q&A. So I'm going to bring everybody back on stage here, and we will do some quick questions from the audience. Let me see. I think there was
We just lost Sandeep. I think he muted himself.
Oh, don't worry. I'm here in the background. I'm just getting the questions here.
Never had it.
One of the first questions that we got. I'll let you guys take it away.
Oh, great question. So how does Cloudability allocate costs to applications if tags aren't complete or accurate? As we all know, tagging for cloud resources can be inconsistent, can be changed over time. Different teams tag in different ways. So what Cloudability offers is a couple of different capabilities. One is what's called tag mapping, and that allows you to collect multiple cloud native tags in a single mapping that has a single definition to it. So if you have an application tag that is spelled 5, 6, 10, 20 different ways, that mapping allows you then to tie all of those cloud native tags into a single dimension called application. For those resources that are not taggable, which there can be quite a few actually, especially for costs related to untaggable resources, we have a capability called business mappings, and that business mapping, those business mappings allow you to essentially create synthetic tags based on much more robust logic. Things like application or accounts, for example. So if there's a specific account that is tied to one particular application, that can be employed within the logic to allocate those costs. So that allows you to take, as David had shown in the Tag Explorer, there was some gray space at the kind of the left of that that bar chart for unallocated or untagged spend. That helps shrink that so that you can more completely allocate costs from those cloud resources or cloud spend in general to an application, to a business unit, to a team or something along those lines. So a lot of capabilities to help manage that those gaps in data.
Another question here: how should organizations begin building a FinOps practice if they don't have one today?
Sai, would you like to give that a shot? You guys are amazing experts in this.
Sure, Glenn. Thanks for the question, Sandeep. I think the fundamental step that one needs to take when going about a FinOps, building out a FinOps practice, is to understand what the objectives of the organization are in terms of cloud optimization. Even before we look at FinOps, I think a useful step would be to look at, what's the cloud presence of the organization? Is it single cloud, multi-cloud? Where each of those platforms is being used? Taking stock of the usage, the current footprint of cloud usage across the organization is a good first step. And then once you've done that, then it's about figuring out what the objectives are. Is the focus more on usage analysis? Is the focus more on cost optimization analysis? Have there been any metrics in the past that the organization has used? What are some of the areas that they would like to go after? That would be a key first step. And then once you've done that, then it's about choosing a powerful platform, right? I mean, there are a bunch of platforms that are available in the market today, and IBM Apptio Cloudability is a market leader, as David was showing us a short while ago, in terms of how Gartner rates Apptio Cloudability. So you go through a process of picking the right tool, which in our opinion is IBM Apptio Cloudability, and then you figure out what the implementation plan looks like. Whether you want to roll it out across the enterprise, or you want to pilot this in a particular business unit or for a particular cloud platform, and then once you've proven the success, then you roll it out across the enterprise. I mean, that in a nutshell is the overarching approach or methodology to implement FinOps. I'm sure Glenn has some perspectives too. Glenn, please feel free to chime in with any additional thoughts that you might have.
No, great response. I completely agree. One thing and one resource, I made a brief plug for this right when I gave my kind of introductory remarks, is the FinOps Foundation. What they've done already, they've done tremendous work in putting structure and taxonomy to the practice of FinOps. So they've already done a lot of the work that defines the different use cases, the different objectives for FinOps. That way you don't have to generate those lists yourself. You've got something to choose from, and you can choose your path from there, along with, again, taking that crawl, walk, run approach. The key is to get started. There's no wrong way to get started, but that's another great resource.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. We've got a minute more for maybe we'll have one more question here. Can individual business units or groups within a company use Cloudability to get visibility into their specific group's usage and spend patterns?
Absolutely. So the view capability within Cloudability is extremely robust, because you can create views for individuals or for groups and assign those views so that they have targeted views of the data within Cloudability, and those views apply not only to reports, dashboards, and other analytics, but also to any of the inform areas with anomaly detection and the tag explorer, and then into the optimize and planning areas as well. So that way they're getting their own data without having to filter it all themselves, and those can be assigned prescriptively to those groups, and that gives them that access. And then if you've got a cloud cost management or a FinOps team in place, center of excellence, those reports can be created, granted access to those teams, and then they can see exactly what they need, what their costs are when they need it.
Anybody else have a quick comment to make? David or I on that question?
No, pretty much Glenn covered it, because that was it's one of the things that I was showing when I was doing the demo. Those dashboards can be filtered down and locked down so they can see what. So, for example, when we show the turbonomic one, that's just a particular view for that particular product, but then you can still drill down that more to just specific groups, what they actually see within that that product itself. And also on the question that Sai was addressing about the how do you create a FinOps practice, that's where your personas come into play. You start selecting those personas from different practices, and that's one of the points or steps you want to take to start building that.
Great.
Maybe we can just comment a little bit about the last question as well, Sandeep. I'm not sure if anyone asked the question, but how granular can we get into in terms of the visibility to data, right? I mean, we talked about business units. That's at a fairly high level within an organization. Can we go down to, let's say, an application level usage or an application level spend? What's the level of granularity that Apptio supports? Could be a good insight to share with the group, I presume.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'll defer this one to you on that one.
No worries. Yeah. So let's use containers as an example. So Cloudability does support container cost all the way down to the pod level. So as we ingest those costs from the different container providers, Kubernetes, I'll use Kubernetes as an example. You can, if you have resources that are labeled equivalent of tags for those containers, that can get at an extremely granular level. And so you can have all of the total cost of ownership, say, for an application across the different services that support that application, whether they're container or cloud, all rolled up, and be able to see that at a very, very detailed level. So extreme granularity, not only with respect to, say, the application or the allocated resource, but also at a time frame as well, right? Because FinOps is not a monthly view. We're talking about a daily or sometimes even hourly view of those costs. So you can get to a great level of granularity, both for the data within Cloudability, which never gets rolled up again. So it always stays at that lowest level of granularity. But then you can also see that at a very narrow time granularity as well.
Perfect. Great. Wonderful. Well, big round of applause to our speakers. And I'm going to transition over to Sai for our last slide here, our call to action. Go ahead, Sai.
Thanks, Sandeep. Again, thanks to everyone for making time to join this webinar today. Hope you find it useful, insightful. I'm sure going by the registrations we've received, all of you have responsible roles within your respective companies to manage your cloud environments. So we are assuming this is a very relevant topic that we've presented today. We are actually offering an interesting, we're making an interesting offer in terms of how we want to engage with you. We are offering the first 10 attendees who would reach out to us to do a no obligations based discovery engagement. What that means is we can engage with you over a series of calls, maybe 2 to 3 workshops that we can do with you to discover where you are today and what your cloud journey is, and where some of the challenges might be in terms of getting that visibility and insight into your operations, into your cloud operations, and come back to you with a clear roadmap as to how you can go about implementing something like IBM Apptio Cloudability. So we would do this for the first 10 attendees that reach out to us and express interest in talking to us, and we'll do this on a no obligation basis. I'm sure this will be a very insightful exercise to do and to present to your internal leadership if this is of interest to you and this is of relevance to you. So please reach out to us. We have the email address put out at the top, which is marcoms@quadranttechnologies.com. And we look forward to hearing from most of you. Thanks again for the opportunity. And back to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Sai. All right. Well, that brings us to the close of today's webinar. For those who asked, this session was recorded and it will be available on Quadrant Technologies' LinkedIn page and Facebook and YouTube. So feel free to watch it and share it with your network. If you didn't register, please drop your name, company, and contact information in the chat so we can reach out to you or reach out to us at the email displayed on the screen, marcoms@quadranttechnologies.com, so we can follow up with you with any relevant information. I'd like to sincerely thank our speakers, Sai, Glenn, and David, for sharing their insights and expertise today. And finally, thank you to all our participants for your time, engagement, and thoughtful questions. We appreciate your interest in FinOps transformation and cloud cost optimization. And we truly hope you found this discussion valuable and actionable, and look forward to connecting and continuing the conversations and engaging with you all soon. With that, have a great day, and we will see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you.